Currently, April 15, 2025 at 6:22 p.m. This is documentation speaking to the pattern of conduct that is underway and the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, which is ordinarily referred to and understood as gang stalking. Not only am I documenting in order to prosecute the gang stalking that I remain subject to, this is speaking to the fact that it is, first of all, government action. It's a crime committed by the government that is a stalker. The government is stalking in concert with the civilian population, the people of the state as they are legally going to be referred to in the prosecution of the state. And this is a pattern of conduct that is pursuant to surveillance that's happening throughout the United States. And that is also known and proven through the maintenance of an environment that is supernatural, as I have documented it, as I am in this video juxtaposing the mutual presence of the sun as it is documented remaining for the duration of the day from the beginning to the end of the day. And also this is relevant to the time of year analysis. It's April 2025 and I'm speaking to what's happening in April 2024, where the pattern of conduct of the entity gang stalking, the hallmark as using planes and helicopters, and the hallmark, which is the people of the state who are exhibiting demon possession while they abide by a uniform code of conduct in that environment that is supernatural, where you're understanding it's not sunlight that they're engaging in their activity and everything, that all of their behaviors, which is accomplishing surveillance, and it's criminal and it's all state action. And the entity that's being exposed for this, the government that's being exposed in order to prosecute, is engaging in ongoing obsessive and criminal surveillance. It's still stalking and monitoring me, in other words, which is demonic, inhumane, and domestic terrorism, as it's going to be prosecuted and recognized in the United States, while I am aware of it, documenting it, publishing it on the World Wide Web, where the government is engaged in also the unlawful and unprecedented criminal conduct of mutually suppressing evidence while still engaging in what is the criminal effort, which is done. The entity is gang stalking me. The government is gang stalking me in furtherance of committing murder, in furtherance of criminal defamation, in furtherance of kidnapping, while I am at the same time aware of it and documenting it and publishing it to prosecute it. That is going not only toward the impunity of the government, which is, again, the civilian population. These are all government actors. They are maintaining presence and maintaining activity in the environment for criminal purposes of the government, who was in this video that I documented today, as you see at the bottom, at 4:57 p.m., ending at 5:07 p.m., which is also relevant to the same time analysis, same time of year as April 15, 2024 at 5:10 p.m. I start video with regard to where the fake sun began and where it ended over me in Los Angeles, an entirely distinct region, where you have the same pattern of conduct, however, with regard to what is activity that's maintained around me that is also pursuant to what is how you are monitoring someone, which is entirely demonic. And the government is doing this while the government is also aware that I am documenting it in order to prosecute the government. And the government's obsessive endeavor, which is also sexually perverted, is what is encapsulated in this video that I'm capturing today. This is pursuant to what is bathroom monitoring. It is also relevant to, again, I want to make sure that I am speaking to the entity that is engaged in what is the unlawful threats posed by the government that is acting pursuant to what is unlawful violation of your constitutional and human rights, those that are in positions of government, even acquiring positions in government with regard to being hitmen. Jason Isaac Fields represents this. This is somebody that is in position of what a hitman and a hitman succinctly put it, is somebody that is in the people of the state are gang stalking in furtherance of committing murder and kidnapping. This is what Tracy Banks is doing. Tracy Banks is a hitman. Eric Corey Spencer is a hitman. Shanita Ramaya McClain is a hitman. Jason Isaac Fields is a hitman. These are people who are in your life. They are gang stalking you while having a personal relationship with you. Unbeknownst to you, you're being targeted by the state. Unbeknownst to you, they are monitoring you. Unbeknownst to you, also, they're demon possessed. But they are gang stalking you and you're not aware of it. And they are in a position to take your life. They are a threat to your life. And they are acting in furtherance of taking your life. And this hitman, Jason Isaac Fields, is someone that either acquired a position in government has a position that was abused for purposes while gang stalking me the entire time. I want to be clear, it is directly relevant, the position in law enforcement state or federal, that Jason Isaac Fields acquired and maintained while gang stalking me, literally based on the relationship that was manufactured with me, which is serving to benefit him in his career, which he used and abused in order to engage in domestic terrorism and psychological torture. This is somebody that is demon possessed, is gang stalking me. And while I am on my device documenting evidence of what is ongoing psychological torture that this person who is demon possessed, who is a violent sex offender, who is literally delusional, is engaged in what is heavy witchcraft practices that have created a demonic and demented obsession with me. He is still engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct, gang stalking with the very entity that I documented on video today. And it is occurring moments after I'm documenting this sex offender, this terrorist, Jason Isaac Fields, who will never have any lawful ability to be in my presence absent what is a federal prosecution. Okay, so this is documentation of the government actors such as Jason Isaac Fields, who I'm documenting, and I remain subject to one of ongoing acts of obstruction, threatening my life, the sexually violent pattern of conduct that I'm subject to while I document predators like Jason Isaac Fields, who is a hitman, who is engaged in sexual conduct, sexual activity, marriage, tantric sex, sex rituals, group sex, all manner of that perverted spirit, that demonic spirit that he is still under the operation of while he is spiritually attacking me. This is psychological warfare, the spiritual component to federal group stalking and monitoring while you are being gang stalked, which this video that I'm capturing today is the ongoing evidence pursuant to. The entity that is gang stalking is engaged in spiritually attacking you, which is harmful to the well-being of that targeted individual. And the evidence speaking to proving federal group stalking and monitoring is the evidence that is also speaking to what is psychologically harmful that the same demon-possessed entity is engaging in. And this is exactly what Jason Isaac Fields is engaging in. And as I document him, somebody that will never be in my presence outside of a federal prosecution and will be subject to prison, this is someone that is gang stalking me with the people of the state who surround me, including the city of Ontario, as I step out and get this video. And it is immediately following documentation of Jason Isaac Fields is bathroom monitoring. The sexually violent pattern of conduct that's happening in the bathroom space, where he too was engaged in what is sexually violent conduct, spiritually attacking me, engaging in what is sexually violent iterations of the same demonic pattern of conduct, and then is engaging in what is the misuse of that government position, abusing it. There is no legitimate investigation ongoing. The government is still gang stalking, and I'm going to recover against the entity, the government itself, that's engaged in what is inhumane and unconstitutional under all circumstances. All right, it is 6:29 p.m. and this is documentation of where the fake sun is at the same time on this same day in 2024, which is mutually exclusive to what is the documentation pursuant to where the entity is surrounding me, engaging in what is terrorism, stalking with amplified noise, stalking with engineered light, stalking under the fake sun, which the entity is doing as I document them. So I want to be clear, the entity is a gang stalking under the fake sun as I document today at 4:57. The video today ends at 5:07 p.m. And the people of the state, this is a dark-skinned Latino male in custody of a minor female child operating the white Toyota Camry, license 7 boy Apple Sam 358. He is engaged in surveillance. This is somebody that is not a resident at the venue. This is the population coming onto the grounds engaging in surveillance and is doing so. Let me show you what this third party looks like. I'm going to go through the video though. This third party is doing so while I am subject to what is gang stalking in the bathroom. This is the sex offense, the perpetual sex offense that's underway. And this third party license 7 boy Apple Samuel 358 is gang stalking, engaging in surveillance, stalking in the path, surveillance in space number 14 at Woodside Senior Apartments, gang stalking with Woodside Senior Apartments, the population that comes onto the grounds to join in those criminal elements of monitoring. And this is a predator that's gang stalking, monitoring my genitalia, along with the government, along with sex offenders, predators, domestic terrorists that are abusing government positions like Jason Isaac Fields, engaging in retaliatory measures, seeking to harm me, sexually violate me, gang stalking me in places like a bathroom, which is entirely demented and perverted because I am enforcing my rights and documenting. And this is what this sex offender is engaging in, monitoring on my communication device, knowing exactly what it is that I'm doing inside of the bathroom. He's engaged in bathroom monitoring while in custody of a minor child. Again, stalking in space number 14 at Woodside Senior Apartments, which Woodside Senior Apartments, AVANATH Capital Management, is civilly and criminally liable for as well. This third party that he is gang stalking with license plate stalking with impossible light, and I will reference video where you have seen license 8 Frank Apple Frank 951 driven by a female who was stalking in the path with impossible light activity, which I have documented on a series of previous occasions. It is the pattern of conduct. It's happening while I walk outside of the restroom where I'm under surveillance, being gang stalked in a bathroom, entirely demented, sexually perverted, predatory, and psychopathic, speaking to the obsession with my genitalia, and the entity is monitoring me, and this is the government's criminal system that's engaging in surveillance in places like bathrooms. License 8 FAF 951 is stalking in the path, monitoring on my communication device, monitoring while I'm in the bathroom, and monitoring while I capture video of the entity gang stalking as I walk right outside. She is gang stalking in the parking lot, in the parking spaces, in concert with the Ontario International Airport that crosses path, doing what is essentially a U-turn, flying in hovering low elevation, crossing path where the fake sun is over the same exact apartment complex, where sunlight is not going to travel across a brick wall while you're driving in at any location. It's the pattern of conduct, however. These demons are pacing with a method of peculiarized light, monitoring my genitalia together, monitoring in concert with the city of Ontario, a population of demons who are sex offenders focused on me, and that focus and that unlawful conduct is proven by the engineered light, proven by the fake sun, and proven by the gang stalking that is also underway by the Ontario International Airport, which is coexisting with sharing in the elements of monitoring. This is again Alan D. Wapner's handiwork right here. Gang stalking via commercial airline planes. He is a gang stalking president over the facilitating venue Ontario International Airport. This is all under the corrupt leadership of Paul Leon, who was a domestic terrorist leader in Ontario as a gang stalking mayor, where the city of Ontario is engaging in that P.O.C. And this is again activity creation in the sky space and on the grounds around me, acting in sync with one another under that fake sun. Okay, so I wanted to go through that really quickly with regard to the entity that is gang stalking at Woodside, license 7 BAS 358, license 8 FAF 951. These are activity creators. The Latina female that's walking around in the parking lot, they are creating activity pacing all around together in that entirely demonic environment, which is also maintained in Tracy Banks's apartment, as I've documented. And this is coexisting with what is not in any natural environment, where the sun is stationary for the duration of the day, not only the same time, at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles on this day, like I captured at 5:10 p.m. on April 4th, 2024. So that's the video that we're going to listen to with regard to juxtaposing the crime scene while I'm subject to gang stalking, which is again ongoing evidence supporting what is necessarily orders of a federal court to restrain terrorists, documented terrorists, and literally demented, mentally ill sex offenders. Those who are gang stalking in positions of government, such as Jason Isaac Fields, who will never have any lawful permission to be in my presence outside of being subject to what is a federal prosecution. So this is the entity that is engaging in that. And while I document and enforce my rights against terrorists like Jason Isaac Fields, this is someone who is still targeting me and is a part of the pattern of conduct as I remain subject to it. It's the same iteration of the P.O.C. retaliatory efforts by that gang stalking entity altogether, while I am engaged in what is documentation on my phone pursuant and about this sex offender who is still engaged in what is spiritually attacking. This is an unlawful and inhumane means of violating someone, doing so in a means that is never supposed to be spoken of. It is, again, as much of a violation as a rape, violation of what is your mental, violation of what is sacred, what is without your consent, and doing so repeatedly with regard to gang stalking as well. So this is psychological warfare, psychologically harmful, intended to, again, create what are permanent, I would say permanent harms, irreparable harms that the entity, including Jason Isaac Fields, are both aware of, and they're acting in concert together. This is documentation while Jason Isaac Fields is engaged in spiritual attacks of a delusional nature. This is somebody that will never, outside of federal orders requiring an arrest and a federal prosecution, be in my presence. But this is somebody that's been playing in witchcraft for a very long time. I want you to see his face. Someone that's been playing in witchcraft for years, engaging in what is very severely demented and sexually perverted conduct. I'm referencing both the Jezebel spirit, and both someone that is engaged in criminal conduct, not ever engaging in any legitimate investigation of myself. This is someone that has enabled all of the cities and counties, all these corrupt mayors, gang stalking via the people of the state, as the federal government, the U.S. government, is engaging in this pattern of conduct in concert with the state of California. This is someone that is engaging in that and still is to date. It is relevant to what is supporting a means of federal restraint to keep this terrorist from me, and any means of exercising or abusing any loss of property that I suffer by this terrorist. It is state action, and the government is going to be exposed to a federal prosecution. It's a threat to my safety, my life, my well-being, and this is something that I am documenting, and I'm also exposing what is the spiritual means whereby you are violated in a way that I do not consent to. In the same way, if this person were to rape me, it is absent my consent. It is involuntary sexual activity. This is involuntary ongoing spiritual attacks where this person is engaging in what is psychological warfare, which is again, something that the entity is doing, that this third part, well, this is the state actor Jason Isaac Fields is doing, with regard to a delusional effort to ever retrieve, in the same way that you are not going to accomplish a voluntary relationship with someone after raping them repeatedly. Spiritually attacking someone without their consent, when they are openly rebuking and refusing to cooperate in that ongoing demented and demonic endeavor, is never going to result in any voluntary reciprocated relationship, and it is pursuant to what is ongoing federal group stalking and monitoring as well. These are the pitfalls of engaging in witchcraft. This is someone who is literally obsessed with me based on the demonic spirits that he has summoned, engaging in witchcraft with Tracy Banks, engaging in a very sexually perverted, it's central to perverted sexual activity. This is somebody that is still under this condition, still severely demented, in need of professional assistance, but that is under no circumstances going to be an excuse for what this person is doing, and it is ongoing terrorism, and it is occurring in what is means that are entirely malicious, pursuant to the gang stalking system. And as I document him on my device, I am still subject to federal stalking, and I am subject to what is gang stalking in relevant position. Okay, that's how what the entity is doing. The component to federal group stalking and monitoring is that which you are subject to spiritually attacking someone. That is what Jason Isaac Fields is engaged in. This is what the entity, the demons, are engaging in together. Jason Isaac Fields in particular is somebody that is delusional, has no right under the law under any circumstances, and will be subject to a federal prosecution were this terrorist ever to come into my presence and threaten me in person. Okay, it is a threat in person while the entity is gang stalking, and he is engaged in spiritually attacking me, by the way. Nonetheless, this is the video that we will go into now. This is documentation of what is happening while I'm subject to the P.O.C. and Los Angeles at the same time, when you are looking at this fake sun that's remaining in the same manner, by the way, as I'm documenting on March 25th, 2025 at 10 o'clock in the morning. The fake sun is in the same position it is right now, and I will reference those videos so that you can look at it yourself. If those who are listening on the podcast, where I am converting this video into audio in order for your listening convenience, as you're witnessing a prosecution of a government that's practicing demonic conduct, practicing Satanism, practicing witchcraft, and targeting an American citizen whom it's seeking to murder, criminally defame, and kidnap. In doing so, while I am not only aware of it, I am documenting in order to prosecute, and that's relevant to the impunity of the state. This is video evidence that is also relevant to what is documented on March 3rd, 2025 with regard to stalking with impossible light in the parking lot. On October 5th, 2024 at 4:54 p.m. with regard to the entity stalking with the possible light activity, which is what this third-party license 8 Apple Frank 951 is committing on video while they are aware of the fact that they're being documented. And again, you have a repeat offender license MARMAK, gang stalking as I am capturing it. I've documented her with the Arizona plate. She is engaging in the pattern of conduct with impunity as I am documenting. So it is MARMMAK, the Arizona plate. This is again a repeat offender, gang stalking with the Ontario police, like I've documented under the fake sun on multiple occasions. She is engaging in the same P.O.C. stalking with a method of light activity in the parking lot the parking lot of the same venue where the fake sun is rising in the morning, as I've documented. But nonetheless, I want to make sure that I'm documenting all those who will be documented for bathroom monitoring as well. This is the P.O.C., and this is, again, mutually exclusive to the sun in the same position, remaining for the duration of the day, which is the pattern of conduct where the entity is a violent sex offender, spiritually attacking you, and also gang stalking you in relevant position in that specific environment. This is where LAPD is gang stalking on this day, by the way, in 2024, and for 47 consecutive minutes, pacing outside of my apartment amongst engineered light that covers the same hillside in Los Angeles at Alvarado Gardens. This is the P.O.C. Sirens, which is criminal summoning. Everybody at Alvarado Gardens, this is systematic engagement in that life-threatening conduct while the government's placing you under surveillance. That's why they're all going to federal prison. They're anticipating my exit out of my office. The light source is still here. This is the same light source that was literally on this side of my person, as I pointed out this morning, and it's here. Hours later, it is 5:11 p.m. You're going to remember what the Fontana Police Department were doing under that which is not the sun. That's exactly what the Los Angeles Police Department is doing under that which is not the sun. That's state surveillance, and that is tethering what is very, yeah, that's the demon. He's going to federal prison. That's 8MNF 488. While the entity engages in clapping helicopter activity, a demon always in relevant position, they're going to federal prison. That's a white Volkswagen crossing path. Under the light source, she's going to federal prison. She lives here. They're going to federal prison. They come onto the grounds to participate in the criminal act. Remember, as I open the office door, the entity is amplifying plane activity. I hear helicopter clapping. I hear sirens. This is a demon that's coming onto the grounds, stalking in the path in the specific environment. That license plate is identifying a third party who is going to federal prison. But let me be clear. The entity thinks that it can engage in putting a paper plate or some other person's license plate. Whoever is documented, whoever is identified with that license plate, and the means whereby you try to avoid being identified. This is the federal government who you do not want to lie to. You're going to federal prison, period. Okay, so I want to make sure that I point that out. This is a highly corrupt entity that is has from the outset tried to avoid the ways in which I've been documenting them. That is criminal presence under all circumstances and relevant position. I also want to document this license plate. This is the Asian male who likes to use his minor child while engaging in what is criminal summoning. He's on the grounds. This was monitoring AENJ660. He's going to federal prison. I already documented him before. This is impunity while he's in relevant position on the grounds of the property. Killsaw is a demon. You've already seen her crossing path and engineer light moving across building 1802. Putting a bag on the ground, walking back to her vehicle is a demon that's repeatedly crossing path while the entity is sounding sirens and sounding helicopter activity, monitoring both sides of me, of my person, while that demon in the Volkswagen was here and she's over here. This is how these demons are surrounding. And they're all doing this all sort of ambush conduct by demons when you're not paying attention, when you're ignorant about the environment, when you're ignorant about the significance of their behavior. They're moving around. They're demons that want to engage in all kind of movement all around in the engineered light. Okay? And that's why you do things like have engineered light on your ceiling. While a third party, demon-possessed third party, will under no circumstances, I don't care how old they are, I don't care how much they heal over, when they have impossible light activity moving across the wall, that is indeed a demon. Okay? That's called impunity as well. That's terrorism. And that's impossible light activity while your shadow is appearing, moving across a wall. That's the pattern of conduct. That's the malice of the entity. Okay? That's identifying a demon-possessed person. Not somebody that's going around, outwardly appearing as whatever you would call weird or clearly disturbed. They're clearly disturbed under a light source. That's what they are. 7FRS 309, that's another demon. He's engaging in what is crossing path, and he likes to engage in what is crossing path and engineer light move all across the parking lot, okay? He's driving an engineer light under the light source in the Los Angeles Police Department. Pay attention to the fake sun that's over me in Los Angeles, over Alvarado Gardens outside of my office door, as it's reflecting off of my vehicle in the parking lot, off the driver's side of the vehicle, off of the vehicles in the parking lot, off of the windows as you can see it, and you are paying attention to what's reflecting off of the vehicles as I'm showing you as they're stalking under the fake sun that's not both in Los Angeles over that parking lot, reflecting off of the vehicles, and at the same time doing the same thing in Ontario. Also, as you know, the sun is not going to be still at the same location, obvious through reflecting off of the windshields of the vehicles that are right in front of me, and also the same sun that's present rising in the morning like you saw on video at 7:21 a.m. here at Woodside Senior Apartments. and in Ontario, California, the duration of time where the sun does not go anywhere is recognizing the P.O.C. The impossible light activity, like you are also paying attention to, while these vehicles in Los Angeles at Alvarado Gardens are driving in the parking lot, engineer light just moved across this white vehicle's driver's side door while they're driving in the parking lot. That's impossible light activity. License 8FAF 951 crosses path in the parking lot and does so with engineered light moving across the brick wall, which is a well-documented pattern of conduct. That's what I'm pointing to when she's driving in the parking lot. This is the pattern of the demons who are monitoring. Monitoring is a system of stalking, gang stalking by the state, where engineered light and the setting where you are recognizing it, it's a whole setting, a stage where all the demons are acting like it's life as usual, and it's a very poor and unpersuasive act. And the fake sun is the obvious identifying factor, where you're looking at what is the duration of time as you are comparing that supernatural character with regard to both environments, Los Angeles and Ontario. This is where Ontario PD, the City of Ontario, the Los Angeles Police Department, the City of Los Angeles, the Mayor Paul Leon, the Mayor Karen Bass are engaged in the same exact criminal system, which is facilitated by state actors who abuse positions in government, those that are a part of any federal law enforcement agency engaging in what is the pattern of conduct and enabling. There's no legitimate investigation to engage in gang stalking by the law enforcement agencies. You're not investigating anything when you're gang stalking by helicopters, when you're engaging in harassment, when you're engaging in what is stalking with impossible light and amplified noise. That is on its face. And then as you can go into the substance of what the federal government facilitates amongst the state, that is gang stalking, it is under no circumstances any legitimate investigation. This is an entity that is gang stalking, which is domestic terrorism and psychological torture, which is identified through the stalking with light conduct, stalking with amplified noise conduct, and stalking in the path, psychopaths that are pacing all around. That's why they're in engineered light and under a fake sun. You're not going anywhere in particular. You're obsessively maintaining presence in that light. They are all pacing and they're demon possessed. Okay, this is all government action in that specific environment, and that's what you're paying attention to in this video while I'm what you can't see on the podcast, but I am going through the video that I captured today in 2025, which is happening at the same time when you're listening to what I'm speaking about while the pattern of conduct is underway in this video captured at 5:10 p.m.
That's the state is maintaining activity around me while the people of the state are vicariously engaging in the maintenance of that activity. He is a third party that lives at the venue going to federal prison. The third party in the Volkswagen comes onto the grounds of the venue to engage in the same exact criminal conduct. Systematic engagement in this criminal system that's threatening the life of an American citizen is equal to what is no less than federal prison. And it's not just going to be a weekend in federal prison. It is currently 5:14 p.m. What you're going to recall is on this same day in 2022 at 5:46, I believe 5:49 p.m., I'm walking out of the Fontana Lewis Library where there is no same sky space, where there would be no sunlight, where there's no vantage point ever, where your shadow would move across a wall at a distance from you. Let me be clear, that's the same demonic conduct that you saw Access engaging in. You're understanding what's the pattern. Light moving, dynamic light while you're crossing path. That's exactly what that demon did. Her person walking in the engineered light is light activity. Her shadow moving across this wall is light activity. That's entirely demonic. A psychopath that engages in that criminal activity while outwardly acting like they are totally unaware of your presence. That's a psychopath. Okay.
And that's the malice of the entity that's gang stalking, and that's exactly what you're saying underway. When the entity is on video gang stalking in that specific environment, pursuant to what is going on in the bathroom inside of Tracy Banks' apartment as well, that's the egregiously violent sex offense of bathroom monitoring, which is built into the pattern of conduct where the government is keeping you under surveillance everywhere at all times in concert vicariously with the people of the state who are also violent sex offenders engaging in gang stalking in bathrooms like Woodside Senior Apartments is doing. On this day, I'm going to go ahead I'm going to go ahead and reference what the Los Angeles Police Department continues on, which is going from what is my office at the same apartment complex at 6:10 p.m. where I captured video at 6:01 p.m. Where the fake sun remains outside of my bedroom window, where the entity is indeed gang stalking me inside of my apartment. Which is again the criminal interference with quiet enjoyment while the demon possessed engage in the P.O.C. And this is where the fake sun is remaining, and this is juxtaposed with.
Did you hear that?
This is juxtaposed with the entity that is engaging what is setting the fake sun at Woodside Senior Apartments, and this is where LAPD is gang stalking in the same specific environment, not the natural environment. And that pattern is speaking to what is proven a statewide system. All right, that is also what is pursuant to surveillance that's happening throughout the country, as you are capable of understanding the significance of the fake sun over you, wherever you are in the United States. Okay, but at 6:01 p.m., where I am documenting, if you're already aware, I'll go ahead and remind you about the entity that is indeed keeping a light source over me at 6 p.m. as I'm documenting. I documented this video on March 24th, 2025. Same time of year analysis applies here, and the sunset is right in alignment to me, where the entity is at 6 o'clock, 6:01 p.m. in this video. LAPD is gang stalking in the environment that defies nature. This is the same living room window where the sun is rising, as I documented every day while I was living in Los Angeles. This is where the LAPD is gang stalking me by helicopter while I'm inside of my apartment, where the fake sun is also outside of the same apartment window in my bedroom in perfect alignment, which is not in alignment with Tracy Banks's apartment at 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct, recognizing it.
Group stalking, state surveillance, flying right over my apartment. I want you to hear that. That's P.O.C. Pay attention to where the light source is in alignment to my apartment, okay? Where they're flying over while I'm outside of the office, flying over my apartment, not flying over the office, okay? Not over there somewhere. And even when they're flying in the distance, amplification inside of my apartment, impossible audible activity. You already know that's number 18. They're clearly stalking. I'm just providing you what is the ongoing consistent evidence of that. I want you to remember about what I documented on the same day in 2022. The Fontana Police Department were engaging in that same psychotic demonstration of stalking a seething and outraged entity, a demon-possessed one, okay? They're not just mad criminals who are being exposed. These are demons, mentally unstable, with malice, not insanity such that they don't know. Oh, they know. They know what they're doing. This is the secret society. Group stalking, literally engaging in surveillance in a helicopter, letting the world know how deranged they are, all right, how wicked they are, and at the same
All right,
I want you to hear that.
That is the entity, sorry, that is stalking under the fake sun. So let me show you that again. I accidentally moved away from it. This is the pattern of conduct as you're looking at that light source that's in perfect alignment with the same apartment where I'm documenting the sunrise on an ongoing basis, which is not in perfect alignment with Tracy Banks's apartment, but you're recognizing the pattern because not only is this where the fake sun sets at Woodside Senior Apartments, this is where, as I've also documented, where the fake sun rises, like I've also documented. This is the P.O.C. here. This is April 2nd, and this is where the entity is indeed keeping the light source that is merely at the same apartment on the opposite side. And I've also documented the pattern of conduct in Los Angeles.
All right, how wicked they are.
Where the entity is indeed keeping that pattern of conduct, which is recognizable, underway in a specific environment. So this is where the sunrise and the sunset is happening. That's a supernatural occurrence. My living room windows where the sunrise would be captured. My bedroom windows where the sunset is captured. And that's exactly what I documented today, April 15th, on in 2024 in LA, where again, no sunrise would ever coexist outside of Tracy Banks's apartment at the same time of year. This is indeed the POC. So let me just show you what I documented today in 2024.
Area where the entity is group stalking by airplanes, commercial airline planes, who are engaged in the perpetual maintenance of presence that is hovering over that neighborhood in relevant position as though they are taking off while the airport is far from that location. This is what the entity was doing at no matter where I went in Ontario, and the entity's false premise is that, oh, because there's an airport in that city, that they can appear to be taking off everywhere that you're at. The entity was following from place to place and remaining where it was that I remained under the lights.
And that's what you saw today in the video where the supernatural is present. The Ontario International Airport gang stalking at the same address where that is crossing a path and amplified audible activity, where the entity engaged in the ignorant iteration of the POC, amplified noise of plane, where there is no Terminal 2 or Terminal 4, where you are taking off from anywhere near Woodside Senior Apartments, and then they engaged in making a U-turn, which is nothing other than maintaining the element of relevant positioning, pacing by a demon who is a sex offender monitoring my genitalia as I step out and get that video of acting in concert with the sex offender who reside at Woodside Senior Apartments. And that's what I'm speaking about on this day in 2024, where the city of Ontario is very heavily documented before I relocated to LA, to show you what LA is engaging in, the same exact statewide pattern of conduct, which is the U.S. government's pattern of conduct that's happening pursuant to surveillance throughout the United States. All right. This is the light source that's remaining over me, which is not over the hillside in Los Angeles.
Light source and indirect.
It is in conformity, however, with regard to that supernatural and impossible feature. That's understanding the significance of the demonic pattern of conduct where surveillance is underway. And it is speaking to what is also sexually violent. On this day in 2024 is where the LAPD capped off its criminal conduct with 47 minutes of pacing in helicopter. And in this video, if you look at this video, I have referenced several other examples of police departments doing the exact same thing, namely the Ontario Police, who have engaged in 20 plus minutes of flying in a circle. That's a demon that's pacing. And as you do so using commercial planes, you're doing so with repeated one after another plane flying by. That's pacing as well. It's called patrolling. That's what the people of the state are doing on foot and on vehicle. That's what they were doing in the parking lot this evening as I captured this video at 4:57 and ending at 5:07. This is what the LAPD is doing on this day. As you are aware of the fact that this is where the hillside, where the sunrise is occurring, then you're getting context. This is not sunlight that's on the hillside here. It's also not sunlight while the sun is in a position that remains in alignment to me in what is Ontario, California, like I'm documenting at 6:18 p.m. This is understanding the significance. Let me go into a view where you can see it more clearly. This is understanding the significance of the specific environment where gang stalking is identified, where gang stalking is underway.
All right, it is currently 6:48 p.m. This is LAPD that's been flying in a circle for the past 5 minutes. So I'm over here washing dishes, and the entity is engaged in that same amplification. This is the demonic methods of turning up the volume of the sound of the helicopter activity, and then this demonic show of what is flying in a circle. And this is an engineer light. Now this is sunlight. The sun is setting as I'm capturing the same day on April 15, 2022. That's engineer light while a demon is crossing paths repeatedly, flying in a circle. This is an outward demonstration of demon possession, and they're also amplifying helicopter activity inside of my apartment. So I want to be clear. This is the entity that's engaging in what is an outward show while they are also aware of the fact that I'm documenting them step by step, okay? And you are looking at what is an ongoing pattern just today of flying in a circle in alignment to me, focusing on where I'm at and flying in a circle.
So the significance of this is that the LAPD is gang stalking. The patrolling conduct is getting to what is the significance of being in the environment. This is one demon that's using an aircraft to engage in repeatedly crossing paths. Gang stalking is accomplished as a group, and you have what is patrolling by a population that's in that specific environment that defies nature. Giving you video of 47 minutes of patrolling is video evidence relevant to the demented mind state, to the psychopathic personality disorder, to the obsession, which is criminal on the part of the government, that is indeed stalking and outwardly demonstrating both their demon possession and their impunity toward being exposed for stalking an American citizen. That's the explanation for helicopter activity in the specific environment for 47 minutes in relevant position to me, where I am documenting the sunrise and the sunset in LA, which is distinct and impossible to coexist with the sunrise and sunset at Woodside Senior Apartments, where these sex offenders engaged in monitoring me in the bathroom as a retaliatory measure while I document sex offenders and domestic terrorists abusing government positions such as Jason Isaac Fields, who is subject to what is, again, restraints in order to expose this person to a federal prosecution were this gang stalker to ever come into my presence, which will never be consented to, and remains an ongoing threat. This is what LAPD is doing, however.
So I want to be clear.
For 47
this flying in a circle conduct is demonic. Demons that are engaging in psychotic behavior in the engineered light, they pace in relevant position. They go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You're accomplishing this when you're flying in a circle in a helicopter, and this is literally a demon that is demonstrating what is their physical condition. what is their spiritual condition? These are demons that are flying a helicopter. So I want to be clear, and the entity is engaging, wants to be heard. So while I'm washing dishes, pots and pans moving around, the entity literally engaged in what is a supernatural heightening of the volume of the sound of helicopter flapping. And it's not because it's right here. It was way louder than this. As loud as you hear my voice, the entity filled my apartment with a loud sound of helicopter clapping. It is as supernatural as you see the light appearing on my ceiling, as you see the light that is the light source that's setting outside of my apartment, and over the building through my bedroom. The entity is, again, this is where the sun is rising. In alignment to me, this is where the entity is stalking in a helicopter, in alignment to me. And this is the same exact pattern that you saw earlier today at 1:17 p.m. I'm showing you what is the light source that's over me and an entirely different location at 1:17 p.m. Under no circumstances is this sunlight, and nor is this normal behavior. This is not only surveillance and criminal conduct, this is harassment by an entity. It is also demonic activity. This is LAPD that is outwardly demonstrating that, and the LAPD knows that it is being documented. I want to make sure that the world understands this. These are demons that know that they're being captured. So you have...
All right, so I want to point something out to you. What you're looking at here at the bottom is pacing committed by the entity that's gang stalking as a group. License 8FAF 951. And what is license 7BAS? The rest of that license 7BAS 358 is creating light activity. And so is 8FAF 951 by moving the vehicle, creating light activity. Also creating light activity because impossible light activity moves across this brick wall. While the third party, the female, is walking by, these two vehicles are crossing path. This is pacing committed as a group. And you're looking at LAPD at the top pacing as one person using an aircraft. They are engaged in the same elements of monitoring. It's the outward demonstration of demon possession. They are gang stalking together, as I'm documenting, on the same day, same time of year, in an environment that is mutually exclusive, speaking to that demonic environment that is there for the criminal corporate purposes of the state, who is vicariously acting with the people of the state. So I want you to recognize that.
Have what is obviously a desire to tell what their secrets are. I want to be clear, the secret society these are demons that are in the secret society, and it includes the government. LAPD includes what is a government actor. So I want to make sure that you understand that. It is currently 6:51 p.m. This is a pattern of conduct. This is relevant positioning. Everybody, all 59 units are systematically monitoring and terrorizing in the same manner. These are demons that live at Alvarado Gardens. These are demons that have been monitoring all day long, coming into my office while the light source is over me. Engineer light is in my office, and LAPD is doing the same exact conduct, stalking and providing audible activity to threaten and consult with the people of the state. The people of the state are demons that live at the facility and venue, which is Alvarado Gardens, and that's why they're going to federal prison, acting with this government that is outwardly demonstrating the fact that they are highly demented stalkers, engaging in what is group stalking, which is demonic activity. But the fact that it's a government that's placing you under surveillance, that's the criminalization of that demonic activity. And the people of the state that live in Alvarado Gardens...
All right, this is domestic terrorism that is occurring under the corrupt leadership of Michael Moore, who is, again, the corrupt terrorist leader over the LAPD. And Dominic Choi, at the time that I'm documenting it, is maintaining an interim position of leadership over the gang stalkers who are LAPD at this time of year in April of 2024. Michael Moore is, again, temporarily, as if you're aware of, he is... as of February 2024, replaced by Dominic Choi. This is speaking to those corrupt leaders who are accountable for the terrorism that's happening under their watch. These are demons, and they're gang stalking. LAPD has a long existing reputation for corruption. What you need to know is that they're engaged in domestic terrorism. And where there is, again, the demonic, you will find evidence of corruption in ways in which you have heard about, but no one has ever spoken about the fact that they're gang stalking as a police department. And it's under the corrupt tutelage of Michael Moore, who was replaced by Dominic Choi, who was then replaced by Mr. McDonald, who is the current terrorist leader over the LAPD, who are still gang stalking. Okay, and so is the Ontario Police Department in conformity to the same exact pattern of conduct. From Derek Williams to Mike Lorenz, the same exact pattern of conduct. It is currently 7:03 p.m., and this is the P.O.C.